Hi, so I thought I would get online and talk about what I got for my birthday this last year. Yes, I'm a little strange when I'm about ready to share with you what I asked for my birthday. Now, before I go there, I'm going to explain what I'm about ready to share with you because I think this is super cool. So, I sometimes get really particular about people who go online and go, this person's narcissistic. And they're talking about narcissistic people when they don't have a degree to diagnose. We have to be really careful around that. That's how I personally believe. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not a clinical psychologist. I'm not sure if that's ever going to be my plan to ever become one. However, for my birthday this last year, I asked for the DSM-5 TR from the American Psychological Association. You may go, why would you ask for that as a birthday present? Especially if you're not a clinical psychologist. Well, I am writing a dark personalities book, and this kind of thing is very interesting, and I want to be accurate. Even if I'm not diagnosing, I really want to understand and be accurate, because I also believe that a lot of times we'll label things, and when we label things, we stop there and we don't look underneath the surface. So if I say that person is narcissistic or that person's acting like they're narcissistic, what does that mean? Where are my descriptors? And then another person will go, yeah, they're acting narcissistic. Okay, well, which part of narcissism? All of them? One or two of them? Okay, well, you just labeled that person and you're not giving me anything more than narcissism. What does that tell me? Is it the N of narcissism? Is it the S of narcissism? Is it the, R of narcissism? No, it's got to be the T in the narcissism. You get what I'm saying? So today, we're going to read the diagnosis criteria. And I'm going to tell you it's on page 760 of my book. And it's at the bottom of the page, and it's labeled Narcissistic Personality Disorder. It's F60.81. So there's 9, and here we're going to go. A pervasive pattern of grandiose in fantasy or behavior, need for admiration, and lack of empathy beginning by early adulthood and present in a variety of contexts as indicated by 5 or more of the following. So 5 or more of the following of these, okay? Remember that, 5. So they have to have NARCII. So they have to have the first 5 letters of this to make narcissistic. So, number 1, has a grandiose sense of self-importance. In parentheses, it says, e.g., exaggerates achievements and talents, expects to be recognized as superior without commensurate achievements. I probably didn't say that word correctly. I sometimes have a hard time pronouncing words. So we're going to go to 2. Is preoccupied with fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love. 3. Believes that he or she is special and unique and can only be understood by or should associate with other special or high-status people or institutions. 4. Requires excessive admiration. 5. Has a sense of entitlement, in parentheses, i.e., unreasonable expectations of especially favorable treatment or automatic compliance with his or her expectations. 6. Is interpersonally exploitive, in parentheses, i.e., takes advantage of others to achieve his or her own ends. 7, lacks empathy, is unwilling to recognize or identify with the feelings and needs of others. 8, is often envious of others or believes that others are envious of him or her. 9, shows arrogant, haughty behaviors or attitudes. Now I want to take a few more minutes to talk about this because there's also other factors that play into this. Sometimes narcissistic family members will train other people to be narcissistic. And so then they'll favor those narcissistic people that they're training because it's almost like it gets handed down because that person's hanging out with someone famous. So this whole definition almost reminds me of the whole United States, just to be honest with you. We're all so about power and prestige, almost in an unbalanced way. We have these narratives that blame the victim when it's been really the predator who's been the problem. And this is, I believe, one of the reasons why people go around saying, that person's narcissistic, that person's narcissistic, that person's narcissistic. Because of the societal narratives we have. That was my whole point in this. So what if we started changing the narratives and started training people differently? What would happen then? You know, I remember going to a event in a place where it was very hoity-toity, let's put it that way. And everyone was like, oh, you know, and the women wore heels this high, and they're like in their 50s and 60s. I'm like looking at them going, that's very brave. I've seen the streets where you live, you know, and I'm from the Pacific Northwest, so it's like flannel, you know, I mean, we're just kind of like, and of course I've been in that, you know, I've seen my family in that world. I grew up in that world, but I'm watching, and this guy walks in, and he's like, yeah, I did this one famous move, and I've been living off of that one thing that I did my whole life. I blocked this professional basketball player or whatever it was. I don't even remember. And I walked up curious, like, what's going on? Who is this person? And all these girls like, ah. And I could feel that energy. I was like, I don't like this. And I could tell that everyone was feeding into it. You see, part of the reason why we have some of the problems we have today is because we keep feeding into it. Now, was he a narcissist? I don't know. And I really don't care. I've only met him once. I just, you know, I don't pay attention. I'm kind of clueless, I'll be honest with you, when it comes to stuff like that. Because to me, it doesn't matter. You're just like me. You know, you may be a little more tanner than me. You may be more fairer than me. You may be more see-through than me. But other than that, you're just like me. You may be taller than me. You may be shorter than me. You may be skinnier than me. Doesn't matter. We're all the same. But when we don't have healthy training, we don't grow up in healthy relationships, we don't take the time to get healthy, we have these things happen, and we create narratives around it. And so it's learning how not to create those narratives around it, so we stop having so many dark personalities in our world. And I got the DSM, not so I could become a clinical psychologist, but so it will help me write my book on dark personalities. So on that note, I hope that this was helpful, and I can read more out of this if you want me to. You don't have to go get the book. You just let me know. So on that note, I'll see you next time. Bye for now.